Welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today we got another bold prediction series video for you. This time's the NFC West. Once again, we're doing this with Fantasy Football Connection. Jeremy over there is a real good guy. Check out his channel as well. I'll be leaving a link down in the description. But with that being said, let's get into some bold predictions for the NFC West. So we got the NFC West now.
Yeah.
Let's see where we want to start. Arizona Cardinals.
All right. I have Hopkins out of the top 8. I know he's going early. I like the offense. I just think they spread it around a lot, and they have a ton of guys. Who went out? Who's their third wide receiver there? He was actually super good last year and kind of undervalued.
Andy Isabella.
No, he was their second wide receiver last year, but with
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk got hurt, and he's still gonna get targets. I don't know. I just worry about Hopkins that early. He's going in that top tier wide receiver group, and I just don't view him as that anymore.
I think he still gets 130, 135 targets. Well, I think Kirk kind of gets what he got last year. I think Fitzgerald, he's just gonna be there. He's gonna get 80, 90 targets. I think they want to throw the ball more, and they're used to the offense now. And Kingsbury wanted to run this really fast-paced offense.
Right.
But they didn't do it as much last year because
they just didn't have enough success, right?
Yeah.
They kept getting booted off the field.
Was a rookie and all that too, and now you got all the pieces together. So you're just gonna be able to go out there and be more successful with it, I think. But I don't know.
Yeah, I read they actually time in between plays they were the fastest team, but because they were just kept not converting third downs, they ended up running way less plays than a bunch of other teams.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's more successful, I think that's good for obviously the whole team. I also think it's kind of good for Drake because if you're moving at such a quick pace, it's so hard to switch out running backs real quick. But
then at the opposite, you got the opposite too. So if Chase Edmonds gets in there for one series and then they go all the way down the field, then Drake gets off the field too. So
yeah, it definitely works in both favor. But I think if Drake's healthy, which who knows at this point, but I think he's at least in there 60% of the time. What'd you have?
I put Kyler Murray finishes outside the top 8 at quarterback. Pretty much everywhere he's being drafted quarterback 3, which I think is just too crazy because you're just drafting him at his ceiling, and you're drafting him there because everybody wants to find the next Lamar Jackson, the next Patrick Mahomes. But the last 2 years, you could pick those guys in round 10 and be all right.
Right.
So I don't know. He wasn't as good last year as people think he was. And I think there's just other quarterbacks that moved their way in front of him. He was quarterback 7 last year. And he wasn't that good most of the time, really. But I think there's a couple guys that – so if you take him quarterback 7 last year, if Stafford plays the whole year, then he's at quarterback 8 already. So then it's if somebody else jumps up in there, say Cam is healthy and he's running the ball, then maybe he gets in front of him too. I just don't think Kyler is going to be as good as everybody's making him out to be. You look at last year, look at Baker Mayfield, kind of how he was hyped up the same way.
Right. Yeah, I kind of look at him the same way. I definitely don't put him at 3. I'd probably take Dak at 3, but I just don't ever take him that early. I want to hit on the guy that you can use all year late, but even if you don't hit, they're so replaceable in your standard, non-super flex league that there's no reason to blow a 3rd or 4th round pick on a QB to me.
I'd rather draft Gardner Minshew in round 14 than Kyler in round 5, 6.
Yeah.
To me, they're almost
even Stafford's the same way. He's a later round guy, and he was on fire when he was healthy. So
it just depends if they ever run the ball there.
Yeah, that's true too.
I think Kenyon Drake, how he came on strong at the end of last year too. So if he does well, it could affect Murray as well too. If he's getting the touchdowns again, there was weeks where Murray wasn't even playable because he didn't get any touchdowns because Drake was stealing them all.
Yeah, I could see that. What'd you have for the Rams?
You know how I put up the Tyler Higbeast or Hig Bust the other day in the Facebook?
Yeah.
So this one's Tyler Hig Bust. Tyler Higbee finishes outside the top 18 at tight end.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I agree.
I don't know what's he been drafted at now. Probably tight end 7 or so. I think everybody's just trying to chase George Kittle did this with the 49ers. I think he like his rookie year where he had the strong end of the year and then people drafted George Kittle in like round 10 or like undrafted and then he kind of came out of nowhere and did real good. So I think everybody's trying to draft Higbee like he's going to be the next George Kittle.
Yeah.
But like he had 4 good games. They were against the Cardinals twice, who was awful against the tight ends. They were against Seattle, who was awful against the tight end too. And 3 of those games, Gerald Everett didn't play either. So it's just like I don't think he's going to be that good. I think he's a better blocker than Everett, and Everett usually they've been having Everett run routes, and he was actually decent before he got hurt too. So
yeah, mine was Everett over Higbee, so we agree on that.
it's pretty similar. I think there's just so many like upside tight ends too this year that they can easily get in front of Higbee. But I think like I said, they're thinking he's going to be the next George Kittle. But like with all these tight ends this year, it's like people are going out there picking like Blake Jarwin and Mike Gesicki. They think people are probably thinking they're going to be like the next Mark Andrews or Jonnu Smith's going to be the next Darren Waller. It's just going to be interesting to see who all pans out this year.
Yeah, to me, Everett represents the same upside Higbee has, and you can get him for free. So it just doesn't make sense to me. Because Everett, like you said, Everett was pretty freaking good before he got hurt. So, and I could see them. There's a lot of talk of them using like 2 tight end sets this year, and then that kind of makes them both less valuable.
Yeah, and like when they did 2 tight end sets before Everett was hurt, Everett was the one running the routes, Higbee was the one blocking. But they used 2 tight end sets because their offensive line was so bad last year.
Right.
So, but when Higbee was actually starting, the other guy that was playing tight end in 2 tight end sets was actually their fullback. So he was blocking because he couldn't run out to save his life anyways. Crazy when you think about it, really. But the Rams are like so hard to figure out for me this year. Like it's like they have to be better, but I don't know how they're going to be better than last year.
I think a lot of it's going to come down to Goff. Like
it's just going to come. It's going to come down to the running game, really.
If it can be successful, but I feel like it might not be. I don't know. I feel like that McVay offense, like the whole reason it was great when it was great was because everyone was just crapping their pants over Gurley, and then Goff over top or like mid routes, play action, a ton of play action.
Yeah. Goff is great at throwing a deep ball, but Goff is like one of the worst quarterbacks like under pressure. And his offensive line was bad last year. But like if you look at Goff should actually be like Goff's actually kind of a sleeper this year.
Yeah.
Because last year he had 23 points per game except for 4 games last year, but they were against it was like Pittsburgh, Chicago, and like 2 other really good defenses. Pittsburgh, Chicago, 49ers, and I can't remember the last one. And then the second time he played against the 49ers, he had 23 points too. So if he would have actually played better against but then he also like had a really good game against the Cardinals too. So like it kind of evens itself out. But like he's like a high-end quarterback too, probably. Especially like they take how many times he actually threw the ball last year and how many touchdowns he had. It was like one of the lowest touchdown percentages like over the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's definitely. I don't know. I took him in our league, obviously, so I like him, but I don't like him. It's a super flex league. We should iterate.
I don't think he's good, but like he's going to be better than he was last year if he throws the ball that many times again. And I don't think their running game is going to be very good, so I think they're going to have to throw the ball a bunch again.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like the volume's there for him, and they're going to be playing catch up a lot of the time. I don't think their defense is that great. I mean, they have Donald, but
it's decent. They have Donald and Ramsey, but they lost Corey Littleton, the middle linebacker. He was a big part of their defense. They got decent safeties. They got and they got Ramsey and Donald, and they got their defensive line is decent. Their defensive backs are all right, but their linebackers kind of lacking right now.
Have for the 49ers.
This one's going to be. This is the real bold one.
Okay.
Jeff Wilson Jr. becomes the running back to own in fantasy for the 49ers.
Oh, man, that's really bold.
Yeah. So, Tevin Coleman sucks. He gets hurt all the time.
I'm going to reiterate a lot of what you're going to say, but
I don't buy into Mostert. Like, I don't think Mostert's that good. A lot of it's part of the scheme. And I think I didn't like McKinnon before he got hurt and missed 2 years.
Right.
Like just watched him play. He wasn't like quick. He's okay pass catcher, but that's it. But I still think like he could get cut. They're
We'll see.
hyping him up so much, but like if he gets cut, Jeff Wilson Jr. is the like he's actually a good receiving back. If he, I don't know if you've ever seen like his college tape. He played at North Texas. He was actually really good there. But if you watch his college tape, it's pretty impressive. And like every time he's played, he scored touchdowns. Like I don't know, it's crazy. But like he's always been like the fourth guy. But every time he plays, he scores touchdowns. And then they just released, I can't remember what the guy's name is. He played at like Washington or something like that. He was an undrafted free agent they bought in. But they cut him too, so then it's pretty much guaranteed Wilson's gonna make the team.
Right.
There's also JaMychal Hasty, who was undrafted free agent running back out of Baylor, but he's like meh. He's gonna be like on the practice squad probably.
All right, so I have Mostert over 200 carries, over 30 receptions. Directly disagree with your analysis there, but I don't know. To me, like, I do think Mostert is super good. I know he's like 28 or whatever, but just like the tape on him, he's making guys miss. He's electric. He's fast as hell. If he can just get somewhat of the job, the problem's always been Shanahan just uses like 5 guys, but the system's great. Like, if there was one running back that they actually used, he would be like in the top 3 or 4 guys.
Well, I think part of it too is like if you looked at last year, why they used so many different running backs is Coleman got hurt, Mostert got hurt, Breida got hurt. They all got hurt.
Yeah, but he's done that for like 3 years straight, though.
I
I think that's just a Shanahan thing, but I hope this year is the year that he's like, oh, this guy's really good.
Yeah, they just played like the hot hand though. But like that's part of why I like Jeff Wilson Jr. because every time he's played, he gets the goal line work when he plays, and he can catch the ball. So it's like if he can catch the ball and he gets the goal line work, if he gets an opportunity, he's gonna be golden. Like for me, he's a must own in Dynasty because he's only he's only 24 still, but if he gets a chance, he could run with it.
What'd you have for the Seahawks?
Let's see. I got Tyler Lockett finishes the season as a top 8 wide receiver. And for me, it's not too big a difference. Before he got hurt last year with his shin injury, he was wide receiver 4. And that shin injury, like, it just knocked him down so much. The next 2 games, he only had 1 catch because of the injury. So it's pretty much like he didn't play in those games anyways. And then he still finished this year as, like, wide receiver 18 or something like that.
Right.
And, like, that shin injury was so bad, he went to the hospital and he didn't even go back to Seattle with the team for a couple days.
So, he definitely has like good chemistry with Wilson too, especially during like the scramble plays. He just finds a way to get open. I have DK over 10 touchdowns and then DK over Lockett in drafts, but that's just me. I feel like he what do you have 7 or 8 last year? He was
7, I think.
He was still a rookie, and physically the guy obviously like blew up the combine. Just bigger guy. I like Lockett. The surprising thing about Lockett is that he does get a lot of the red zone looks, which is nuts for a smaller guy.
The most like efficient player in the red zone last year.
Yeah, which to me is just insane. Like if he can keep that up at his height and stature, like good for him. But I also can see like the realm of where that just becomes DK's job, just because he's just a beast.
See, but like the thing is, like DK, he's like this big guy, but I don't think he's great at like the high point of getting the ball, like going up against the defensive back and getting the ball. Like he doesn't have that trait yet, at least.
Yeah, he's got to develop it for sure. But I mean, also, what was his 40 time was nuts too for how big that dude was. I don't know. Sometimes 40 times and game speed are completely different, though.
Yeah, I think he's better at like running by somebody than running a fade route in the end zone and trying to throw it up to him. And like Lockett, he just finds a way to get open in the end zone. And like Russell Wilson's so good at like throwing the ball wherever he wants.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the one pass he threw to like Lockett at the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
And like Lockett toe taps it like in the exact back of the end zone, and Wilson threw it to the only spot he could catch it and be in bounds.
They also throw a lot of those like crossing patterns in the red zone to like bump him open essentially. And that definitely helps.
I don't want to wish like somebody to get hurt again, but hopefully Will Disley doesn't come out and like just get a whole bunch of touchdowns again, because it just kind of kills both those two guys. Like in the games Will Disley's actually played, he's like the best tight end in history.
Right, right.
because
If
he's
he
got
could
like
just
a
stay
touchdown
healthy.
like all but one games, but like in 2 years he's had like massive reconstructive knee surgery on both times. Or
I
last year,
know. I was surprised he even came back and played last year, to be honest.
well, and then he came back and then he hurt his knee or tore his Achilles. I can't remember which last year. And then like he's supposed to be okay for this year now, but they brought in Greg Olson too. But I don't think Greg Olson's going to do anything. Like he's there, but yeah, I don't think he's going to score a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and I definitely agree that it could hurt both those guys' value because realistically, I like both Lockett and DK as like those. Lockett's going kind of being disrespected where he's going in ADP, and I feel like if you take DK, you're looking for the upside. But
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like the problem with like where DK is going right now is like people are drafting him like so like last year he finished like bottom tier like wide receiver three.
right,
Everybody's but he's getting drafted like 20, 21 now. So it's like you're drafting him to be a wide receiver too, hoping he and then like if you want like to get value out of him, he's got to be like a high end wide receiver two or a low end wide receiver one. So like there's not as much value there. There's
yeah, he's either got to explode or you're gonna get like the
mm,
same value you put in or less, which is definitely scary and not the goal.
mm, yeah. And then like at that point it's like if you're taking DK, like why don't you like you can wait probably like another round, round and a half, and you could take a guy like Devontae Parker instead,
Right.
who was a wide receiver one last year.
I always see
Not well.
Chark and DK like real close, and I always would go Chark in that situation as well. So
Well, Chark's like the main guy there too, and he's the only one that really gets touchdowns, besides probably Tyler Eifert this year. All right, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed the bold predictions that we had for the NFC West. If there was any bold predictions you agreed with, disagreed with, please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you have any old bold predictions as well for the NFC West, leave those down in the comments below as well. If you guys liked and enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel or you've been watching videos for a while and you're not already subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps our community grow that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. If you are a new or current subscriber who already hasn't done so, please hit that notification bell down below. It lets you know every single time that I put up a video. And with that being said, I'd appreciate it if you guys check out Fantasy Football Connections channel as well. Jeremy over there, he's going to be putting up the AFC videos as well for our bold prediction series. While you're over there checking them out, be sure you subscribe to him as well, and be sure you hit the bell for notifications so you guys get notified when he puts up videos as well. We'll be working on some other projects together throughout the season as it moves along. But with that being said, that's pretty much all we got for this video today. If you need to get a hold of me at all for any reason, you can reach out to me at CoachCraigSports@gmail.com. You can reach out to me on the Coach Craig Sports page on Facebook or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. And be sure to check out the Fantasy Football Discussion Group on Facebook as well. I'll leave a link to all this down below. But with that being said, that's all we got for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed the bold predictions that we had for the NFC West, and have a great rest of your day.